Can you talk to us a bit about President Trump's plans on the first few days? On day one, for example, how many executive orders is he planning?
Well, President Trump isn't even back in the Oval Office yet, and we're already seeing the Trump effect. Small business optimism. So President Trump is already acting as the president. He's already taking steps to make real change for the American people. But as for executive action on day one, yes, he will use the power of his pen to deliver on many of the promises he made to the American people on the campaign trail to secure the southern border, to fast track permits for fracking, for drilling, and to also take executive action to stop some of the transgender insanity that we have seen take over this country. I think the American people are going to be pleased with what they see from President Trump within mere minutes of his return to the Oval Office.
President-elect Trump's incoming White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, talking to Maria last week. Let's bring in Trump's incoming White House counselor, Alina Habba. Alina, thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate it. Look, there are a lot of things that have to happen before now and January 20th. I get that. But assuming everything goes smoothly, and it should, then on January 20th, the president's going to do a lot of things. But how is the president going to fight back against the efforts by the Biden administration to Trump-proof the workforce and all these other things? He's out there selling the border wall. What are the things that Trump's up against, and what is he going to do to fight back against it?
Well, I think we're seeing the fight already begin, Jason. If you look at what we've done, we've had just recently an amicus brief filed against what he's doing with TikTok, because President Trump believes he can solve it in a way that will help and benefit Americans and keep TikTok regulated so that we can maintain it. We've seen, again, the border wall, like you said, him selling off the border wall. We had to step in, and thank God the courts did, and prevent them from doing that. We have red states that are stepping up and putting American first policies, Trump policies, ahead of us getting in and protecting the incoming administration. It's just not even fathomable to me that President Biden would want to be so destructive in his last few days. But unfortunately, that is what this administration has been doing. So we shouldn't be surprised. But we have been actively working to prevent that from happening. And we have people, on the Hill working on that. And we're ready for action. Like Karoline said, day one, we're going to be taking serious action immediately, executive orders, in order to make sure that we correct, frankly, what they've destructed and get America back on track immediately.
Now, two of the things the president has to deal with is a workforce that has not been coming into the office. And the second thing is the debt ceiling. What can the president do right away to deal with those two big issues?
Listen, first of all, we have to clean up a lot of the mess, and that includes some of the DEI hires, some of the ridiculous decisions that were made, and putting people in that maybe didn't have the merit to be in the administration and in those positions. With having people like Kash Patel, having people like Pam Bondi, Pete Hegseth, they're going to be dealing with their departments and making sure we have the correct people in there. When you turn into debt, first of all, we've got a president that just spent, $50 billion on the Amazon. He's sending money out like it's growing on trees in the back, in the south lawn of the White House. And we have got to look at tariffs. We've got to look at some of the things that President Trump is going to do to make sure that America is not second, third, fourth, but we're first, because people want to trade with this country, but it has to be fair. And President Trump is a strong voice, a strong president who will demand respect and get our country back on track. We can't be just handing out bailouts to every country that wants anything. The Amazon wants a big check. Okay, let's do it right before we get out of office. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. But Jason, we have a president who's been on vacation for 40% of his presidency. 40%. So I don't even think he's checked in, but he has no problem spending American money, and it's got to stop. The hemorrhaging has to stop. American people are suffering. We need tax reforms. We need a lot of things that have to be done very quickly so that they can effectuate some change when President Trump is in there and help the American people.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that President Biden was on vacation before he went on another vacation. Then he went to St. Croix, and then he's going to get back and he's going to go fly off to Italy, like he's going to do some big foreign policy effort in Italy, and all at the taxpayers' expense, of course. All right, but I want to get down to the nitty gritty here. There are hundreds of billions of dollars that are trying to be spent by the Biden administration in literally the next 20 days. So what can the president do to fight back against that? Because that money, I mean, we're up against the debt ceiling, but there's hundreds of billions of dollars appropriated, but not yet spent.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the bills that they're trying to pass, and Vivek did a great job of pointing this out, and Elon, some of those bills, they're giving massive bills which have hidden income to people, raising people's salaries, things like that. They are trying to slip it through the cracks. But our team, and when I say our team, I mean the Republican Party. I mean certain people on the Democrat Party that are not agreeing with what they're doing, that are seeing through it, that know that the incoming administration is going to fix it, reverse it, and call it out, are currently out there looking at these bills, going to the American people, going on the Hill and saying, you're not going to pass this bill this way. You're not going to slip in money that shouldn't be spent. But there's only so much, unfortunately, we can do until we're there. But I will say that I think that we're seeing real unity in Washington recently. And also fear, probably because of DOJ, because of his administration, the people he's put in, and the fact that they know that you're going to be held accountable if you're going to be messing around with American people's money. And and I think we've seen that. I think we've seen that just in look at the amount of people, Jason, that have come to speak to President Trump at the Winter White House here in Mar-a-Lago. They are worried, and they know they're going to be held accountable. And I think that is something we knew would happen the minute he got elected, because he is a strong leader and a strong voice, and he's America first. So if you've been messing around and taking money from our government, which is taxpayer dollars, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. There's going to be a block, and there's going to be checks and balances.
It is amazing how much President Trump has been able to do just since the election. He's not even sworn in yet. And yet the world is, look, I think our enemies fear us. And I think our allies, they respect us now. And that's a huge sea change from where we've been. Alina Habba, incoming counselor to President Trump, thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful, happy new year. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.